let's go ahead and get started about 4 minutes after. I want to thank all the attendees for stopping in to watch what we're about to go over. My name is Chris Holden, Director of Sales and Marketing at Hop Guild. We also have Chris Hudson, there's our West Coast, now our South Region Sales Manager for the Hop Guild. We have Chris Ketcham from Stone Liberty Station. He's the head brewer there. He's the one that brewed the amazing beer that a couple of us are going to get to try here. And then we also have the man, the myth, the legend, Walter KOENIG. He's the managing director at the HÜLL Institute in Germany. So the topic today is going over German hops and why they could be potentially extremely important to both growers, brewers, and even merchants here in the coming years. So Hudson, I'll let you start and take over from here.
Yeah, so I appreciate everybody attending today. And Chris and Walter, special thank you to showing up today. I know, Walter, you're on a different time zone, and Chris, you're a little under the weather, so I very much appreciate you both being here. This beer was kind of a brainchild of a reason to work with Germany and get some new stuff out to the market. Chris was kind enough to brew that over at Liberty Station. I got to say, the beer is tasting phenomenal. This is my first run with Tango hops, especially in a single hop variety. I've had a few things where it's been mixed, but to really understand and get a flavor profile for what this hop can do is very impressive, especially in this Pilsner that we made. Chris, if you wouldn't mind talking about what we brewed really quick and how we did it, give the people a chance to kind of hear the methods that we use there.
Yeah. Can you hear me all right? Or I need to know if I need to start trying to go unfroggy or not. Yeah, so this is we've been doing we call it simple kind of Pilsner at our Liberty Station location. So it's based off a German style Pilsner recipe, and we just single hop every single time. So we've done such hops as Mandarin, Bavaria, Hottar Blanc, and Lista, and a few others, Ariana. But when I was talking with Chris about different hops to try out, he brought up Tango, and I was like, oh, I've never even heard of this hop. I'd love to try it. So we introduced it into our single hop Pilsner, and it was excellent. I mean, I love it so far. We did about we whirlpool hop this only at about 3/4 of a pound per barrel, and then we gave it a very, very small dry hop of about a half pound per barrel as well. And then simple recipe, just 100%, pretty close to 100% Pilsner, maybe a little carafoam in there as well. And then we fermented this out with our, now it's fun to say, but our Stone House Sapporo yeast. So, yeah.
Yeah, I got to say, it came out very clean. The hop profile is very well balanced for a single variety. You know, you can pick out a lot of different flavors, and appreciate that a lot coming from a new variety, especially. Jumping into it, let's just get going. Walter, you're the reason why we're here. I mean, this hop is kind of your baby. Let's hear what you have to say about it.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the chance to introduce this hop variety, this new hop variety. So I just want to give you an overview over some details of German hop production and latest results. I hope you can see my shared screen now. Let's go one further. Come on, or like this. Yeah, so we grow hops in Germany on different areas. The main area is the Hallertau, and this is now the only area where we grow the new variety Tango. The other areas like Tettnang area, Spalt area, and north between Dresden and Berlin, Elbe Saale area, they do not have Tango now. Maybe they start the next years with this variety. So in Germany, the hop growers growing bigger and bigger in the last 20 years, they doubled the size of the hop farms. On the other hand, we lose some farms, so this is a normal process, you know. And these farms who are growing bigger and bigger, they they are the ones who are searching for new varieties, especially because they want to build a new variety mixture on their farms. Early varieties like Hallertau Mittelfrüh, middle harvest varieties like Tango, and late harvest varieties like Mandarina Bavaria, Hercules, or Titan. And so Tango fits very good in a middle maturating harvest time, though on the farms they are very happy to have Tango between the very early and the later harvest ones. So we at our research center, we care not just for breeding, so we care for the whole process from breeding to the whole processing and good quality in the end for the brewers. And this is what we are doing since 1926. So 26, you know, in 2 years we have our 100 years celebration ceremony at our institute. And as you can see on this black and white pictures, we started in this early time with education, the farmers in plant protection, in growing things, and in breeding at this time. And that means breeding is our main part, and the other ones, the other 4 ones, are plant protection, getting rid of a lot of the chemical ingredients, production and technology, quality and analytics, it's our own lab, and more ecological breeding and growing. This is the whole side. You can see it's very traditional, it's very grown over the 100 years. And if you're ever in Germany, just take the chance to visit that. It's open for brewers, not for public, just for special interest people. So Tango is a variety that meets all the challenges that we are facing in this Hallertau area. This is mainly climate change. This is protection of the resources, especially water. This is reduction and elimination of chemical and synthetic plant protection active ingredients. This is more and more biodiversity and variety of species. And in the end, the whole thing means more and more getting in a sustainable production of hops. And as you can see, we are nearly 100 years old. We have an own weather station at our side. And the blue lines on the left-hand side, these are the temperatures in the last 50 years. The green, the yellow, and the red, these are temperatures in April to August, the main hop growing month in the last years, especially the red line in 22. This is how we can measure the climate change at our hop breeding side. And on the other hand, on the right side, you can see that in the same time, in the same special month that we need the water for hop growing, because in Germany, we have just about 20 to 25% of the whole area under precipitation. The other nearly 80% has to be have to have rainfall. So this rainfall in this necessary months comes down and down. So it's more warm and hot and less water. And this needs new varieties that can stand these conditions and grow on a very high-end quality level, a lot of hops and alpha acids. So a lot of you people know Hallertau Mittelfrüh, and if you look back to the 70s, Hallertau Mittelfrüh was more than 50% of the whole area, growing area in the Hallertau. Now you can see it on the right, in 23, it was just a small part, Hallertau Mittelfrüh and Hersbrucker. And all the blue varieties you can see, like Pearl, Tradition, Magnum, Hercules, are breedings from our institute. And here, the violet one, this is the new varieties, especially Tango is coming now more and more into the soil. And the more the brewers use it, especially in Germany, Europe, and US, the more we can have a change of growing varieties towards to more sustainability and get rid of the older varieties like Tradition, Pearl, who are not so good with climate change. Just one example is the hop cone, the hop vine itself. If you see on the left side, Hallertau Mittelfrüh, old land variety. So you have to produce 2.5 kilograms of vine, leaves and everything to produce 1 kilogram of cones of Hallertau Mittelfrüh. And on the other hand, this is not now Tango, it's Hercules or Titan. That's the same. You produce a lot less of vine to produce 1 kilogram of cones. That means you don't have to feed the whole vine. You don't have to keep it healthy. You don't have to bring water to it, and you produce a lot of more cones with less input. And this is what we call in our breeding system. We want to produce breeding lines and varieties with a low input and high output agricultural behavior. So low input means low nitrogen input, low water input, low amounts of pesticides and chemicals. But on the other hand, for the brewer, high content of oil, high content of alpha acids, high yields, and especially stable years and stable content of brewing ingredients over different environmental temperatures, years, and so on. And this is the healthiness of Tango. You can see the old ones, the gray ones, Hallertau Mittelfrüh, Hersbrucker, they have a lot of minus in Peronospora. This is downy mildew, powdery mildew, and so on. They are really not very healthy, and that means they need a lot of plant protection during the whole growing month. And in between, there are the middle old varieties like Perle, Mandarina Bavaria, and Ariana. Mandarina and Ariana, they are very healthy too, especially Ariana. But Tango, you can see they have a lot of plus. That means 2+ is very healthy, 3+ is the best what we have. And they need a very, very low spraying and plant protection amounts. Now to the variety itself. So what you want to know is what brings the variety into the beer? What are the ingredients? Now I have to get rid of this thing that I can read everything. So especially it is alpha acids. And as you said, Kris, you used now 100% for your Pilsner. And in the old country, in Germany, and even in Czech Republic and so on, Pilsner beers, we do not use any bitter hops. We use 100% aroma hops. This is for a noble aroma in the end. No bitter, just aroma. But if you have aroma hops, that is a little bit higher in alpha acids, so 6, 8, or maybe 9, you can reduce your hop dosage, your total dosage. And so we aimed with Tango a alpha acid content of 9%. So in good years, it almost already had 11, but in in the worst years, it was just in the high hot and dry years, it was on 7.5. So in middle, it's about 9. Beta acids, 8.5. Cohumulone, 23. A lot of brewers there have an eye on cohumulone. And xanthohumol, the healthy part of the polyphenols, it's 0.6 about in average. It has a very high total oil. So we call it, it's a very wide spectrum of aroma notes that are especially classical. If you use this hop variety in a classical way, that means on the first hopping, on the second hopping, and in the whirlpool hopping. So you do not get any of fruity, citrusy, or flowery aromas. It's a very, very classical aroma that's very close to Hallertau tradition. But if you use it after whirlpool and go dry hopping with this high oil content causes that you get a lot of this sweet, fruity, citrusy, and not so classical, more modern, or like IPL's aromas. And this is why German brewers call it, even if this term is not allowed anymore, I think, a dual purpose hops, because they use it even for helles, for classical helles. 2 weeks ago, we had a festival in the Hallertau, a beer festival, and about 55 beers were on the festival, different breweries, more than 30 breweries. And we had a 100% Tango helles, and it made the second, how do you call that, like award on the crowd that we had. So people like it. German people who are used to drink classical helles, they like this traditional hop flavor. But if you use it in a way of dry hopping in the end, or more in whirlpool, and give us a stress or a point on whirlpool and dry hopping, you can work out the other aroma components. So this is the flavor in raw hops on the left side. So in raw hops, it's fruity, and even the green one, like a little bit classical hoppy, it's but a little more fruity. And then if you use it in hot wort, in the cooking range, in the hot range, it's very classical. It's on the classical side, and the fruity and citrusy aromas are a little bit in the background. And if you use it on the cold part, dry hopping, you work out the citrusy, the fruitiness that you can smell or have in your nose in this beer that you brewed. And just to the end, a small view on sustainability. So old varieties, like in bitter especially, you can compare it very good in bitter varieties. Northern Brewer, Magnum, they had CO2 footprints from more than 40 kilograms in the 70s, coming up to the 80s with 24 kilograms, and going now, Helcorus and Titan. This is the best range we can reach now, under 20. And our Tango is about on the same level as, or in between Magnum and Hercules, you can say about 20 kilograms CO2 footprint during the whole production. And this is not including the pelletizing, but the pelletizing is nearly the same on the different varieties. That's just the production on the fields. Just a small outlook on the Hop Research Center. We are working very hard at this time on new breeding lines. Yes, breeding lines coming up that are more and more replacing breeding lines for old classical varieties. So we're working now on a variety that may replace Hallertau Mittelfrüh. Same aroma spectrum, but more sustainability, 3 to 4 times of yield, and very low alpha acids, because the aroma component in your beer should be the same as with Hallertau Mittelfrüh now. That means you have to put a lot of green material into your brew, that you get this hay and a lot of polyphenols in your beer, that you get the same amount of aromas and the same aroma components, but we enhance a lot the agricultural behaviors and sustainability of production of this variety. And I think this is a chance to replace old varieties that are special varieties now, very, very expensive to grow because of the low yield and the high potential on diseases they have. So they need a lot of spraying, they need a lot of pesticides, and this is not a way for the future. So we want to have a healthy and competitive variety that has the same aroma components that you're used to if you use Hallertau Mittelfrüh. And we want to enhance our biodiversity of the variety of species in our production area, in the whole area. That means we're working a lot on means to bring natural enemies in our breeding areas. We want to go back out from monoculture into a multicultural area, growing not just hops and hops. So we want to grow hops, and between other like grains, corn, and so on. If you have ever been in the Hallertau, kilometers, and it's just hops and nothing else, and we have to go a little bit back, and this is where we have to use new varieties too. Yeah, so that's it. Just to thank my team for all that work, thank the team for breeding this beautiful and good variety, and hopefully you have the chance to visit us anytime at the site. Maybe not during Oktoberfest, because during Oktoberfest we are very crowded. Sorry. So if you have questions, I'm open for that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the attendees, you should be able to ask questions over in the sidebar over here. So anything that you guys might have for Walter or Kris or ourselves, feel free to ask. Walter, thank you very much for that presentation. It's you guys are doing a lot of work over there, and I mean the flavor profiles that I'd pick out of this variety alone stand out. They're just more intense. They're more predominant than some of the other hops, single variety hops that I've had. And again, to Kris Ketcham's point, is we didn't use that much to get here. So I think to your point on the alpha acids and things of that sort, this hop has a lot of potential to replace some of those older varieties. Just this beer is incredible. I wish you could have it right now. It's just so good, and it's exciting
I
to see.
think the high oil content and this in this oil content there's a very wide range of single oil components, so we can split them up at our lab, and this is like a fingerprint of a hop variety if you have the hop the hop components of the oil content. And we have a lot of new peaks in this on the screen with the oil ingredients of Tango, and this wide range of a lot of new oil ingredients that are over your that you can smell them over the level. I think this is what Tango is in special. Yeah.
Are
And
you seeing a difference in the regions it's grown in? Because or like from farm to farm, do you get too much of a difference, or is it pretty even on as far as what you're seeing?
so as I told you, it's just in the Hallertau area now, but the Hallertau area is so big and so different that you should see some difference there too. But I think environmental influence is lower than the genetic thing that Tango has. So it is a genetic thing, the fingerprint, and the oil content. So oil content, the total oil content, this is different on the areas, but the oil ingredients is the single ingredients is this is genetic. So this is always the same. It's just higher and lower.
So I seem to remember when I was out there a couple of years back, you had the Tango growing next to, I believe, Mittelfru. At the time, you had a couple of glass panels in there so you could see the root systems. And
Yeah.
I seem to remember Tango was quite large with very little water. So it's great to see that you guys have worked that sustainability side to get something that's more drought resistant.
Yeah, that's one of the secrets of Tango and even Titan, the new bitter variety, that the root systems are 3 times larger, fast growing, very deep, thick, and not so thin and baily like on old varieties. They're going deep in the ground, and if you have 2 or 3 weeks no rain, it's not a matter, because they get up the water from deeper regions, so they are they stand more than 2-3 weeks without of rain or precipitation. And on the other hand, the varieties have deep roots, and in summer they grow a lot of, we call that summer roots in the top or in the upper areas. So this summer root is like a net very close to the soil, and if it is raining, they get a lot of more water with this net just underneath the soil on the root. So it has 2 functions: the deeper ones that are growing fast and much deeper, and the net of the summer roots, if it is raining, that they collect as much water as they can. And Hallertau Mittelfrüh, or old varieties, and even Pearl as a 70s variety, they do not grow as much summer roots and not as deep and thick roots in the deepness. A lot of these informations are on our website, so it's in both languages, so it's in German and English, and it just show you, I share the screen again, that you can find all the varieties on the website. Oh, I cannot share again. It's
Go ahead
now. Oh, okay.
ahead.
Sorry. Ah, yeah. Now it is here. So, So I opened the website in up behind, so I can. Here it is. So on the website, oh, sorry, now. Here it is. On the website, there are a lot of all the varieties we bred in HÜLL, all the older ones, all the new ones. You can see here the old ones like Hallertau Mittelfrüh and so on. And if you go further to T, like Tango, you have here the parents of Tango. You have all this agricultural features. You have the aroma wheels in beer, in dry hop aroma, and so on. And especially here on the right side, you can see all the chemical ingredients measured on more than 10 years in average. So if you want to look at that after the session, you can go on the site. It's www. You can see Hopfenforschung. It's just Hopfenforschung.de, and then you have to switch here on the English version. That's it.
Yeah, we can send over an email. We can send over an email too with all that information, so any of the attendees can take a look at that stuff.
Hey, I'd like to talk with Ketcham real quick. Just get your opinion on, you know, what do you see next for this hop? Do you see, you know, as far as blending goes, if any blending, do you think it's better? And I know we've only used it once, but it's like a single hop variety for this beer. Just kind of get your opinions on these things.
Yeah, I mean, I think for this one, I mean, we solely focused on the Pilsner. So, I mean, from the get-go, just opening up the bag, it's just citrus just pops out at you. But I think as fermentation kind of goes on, especially with like the sulfur combining with the lower fermentation temps, the citrus still very there. We get a lot of lemon and orange, but floral character pops through with some sweet aromatics. Kind of doing like a comparison, it kind of reminds us of a mix between Laurel and Amarillo. So I mean, I would like to try it in a different fermentation profile, focus more on the ale yeast and hotter fermentation temps, and also try it in a like either during active fermentation or with a higher amount of hops for the dry hop to kind of see how much more we get through it. But yeah, I mean, just from the Pilsner standpoint, I think it's beautiful. I love it, and it's like I look forward to having everyone try it eventually. But yeah, right now it's really hard to speak on until we can try it in a different volume.
Sure. No, I appreciate that. I mean, just there's so much complex flavors, and I like that you get it up front, you get it on the back. There's nothing that's you could almost pick out every flavor that you taste. You know, I get orange on the top, I get a little floral on the back end, I get that nice woody kind of character. I wouldn't say woody, but more of a piney-ish flavor on the back end, at least the touch of it. But overall, I mean, it's full-bodied and incredible.
Yeah, one thing that we've seen with it too over the last couple of years that we've had it, is I feel like this hop's almost also like rewrote the definition of dual purpose, where it's not bittering and aroma. It's that you can really use it both on the noble side, but also maybe some new school recipes, because it has this very unique terpene profile that if it some of the terpenes are boiled off in the whirlpool or late boil, you get that Hallertau tradition type of flavor. But in the dry hop or in the cold side, you're getting a whole different expression of the hop. Yeah. And it allows it to do some really, really cool things and open up the playbook for brewers overall, I feel like. Walter, are you seeing similar things to that in Germany with brewers over there, both some of the larger breweries and some of the smaller breweries?
It's always the same. New hop varieties, they start in the small breweries, and they do the work. and we do a lot of brewing trials with small or medium-sized breweries, and the bigger ones, they come later because they fear a little bit going maybe too far, new ways. They stick to their traditional recipes and they don't want to change anything. And if they get the experience that, especially on Helles, medium-sized breweries, they turned to Tango and do a very, very good and well accepted Helles, then they start to switch 25%, 50%, 75%, and so on. Yeah, very, very carefully.
Yeah, that makes sense. Heard very similar stories with other growers and even merchants in Germany. So it's probably a long road ahead for you guys over there to get it into the bigger breweries' hands, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, hard to say. Yeah. Maybe one thing in addition, it works especially with lagers and ales, but the traditional wheat beer specialists in Germany, like Erdinger, Weissbier, or something like that, they tried to use Tango in their classical wheat beers, and they said it's the fruitiness of Tango. If you have the fruitiness, it's going not so good with some fruitiness of this classical wheat yeast style that like Erdinger Weissbier wants to have. So it maybe overlays a little bit the yeast flavors with the hop flavor. And so now in Germany, Tango is specially used in Pilsner, Helles, and ales. The classical wheat beer producers, they are just a small of them, like Planck. Planck is one of that wheat beer. He won the World Beer Cup a lot of times. He's a really famous medium-sized wheat beer brewer in Germany. He uses Tango, but he has a big range of wheat beers and not just classical ones. Yeah.
Interesting. Is there anybody doing IPAs over there with Tango or that you know of?
Yes, but now we are getting out of this IPA wave. We are getting into the IPL, and this is what the Germans know, what they can do, what they are used to. This is lagers, 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 and they use a lot of Tango in IPLs.
Oh, okay, excellent. Do you know what varieties they're blending them with?
Especially traditional varieties to get a little bit traditional, like Pearl tradition, and then in the end to get the IP to the L, then they use Tango or Mandarina.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Just got a question from Evan Fleury. He's asking, have any German brewers tried Tango with classical Dunkel styles? And then how does the profile mesh with toasty, caramel, nutty, malty flavors?
I'm not sure. I do not know if somebody tries Tango at Dunkel styles. Here in Dunkel styles, the most of them, if they use new varieties, they use for Dunkel styles Ariana, because Ariana fits so good to Dunkel malt aromas. It's amazing. Like the Dunkel of Schönrammer, it's 100% Ariana. Ariana fits even very, very good to Dunkel wheat beers. So the caramel and little bit roasty and dunkel malt aromas, and this dark berries of Ariana. This is a very good connection.
All right.
Ariana they use a lot, but Tango I don't know. I do not think so.
Is there anything else you got, Holden, or would like to bring up here, or Kris, Ketcham?
Yeah, I had a question for Ketcham actually. Is like if you were to think of a recipe or a style yourself that you would like to see this brewed in next, what would be the style that you would like to see it in?
Oh man, we were talking about this the other day. I kind of would go for like a hoppier Kolsch kind of style.
Okay.
But that's kind of been more of my wheelhouse of what I've been wanting to drink lately. So
Does anyone else in the attendee side have any questions before we wrap up here? If not, we can always email each other back and forth on this as well. I appreciate both of you coming here to this very much. This has been a long time coming. Kris, I think we brewed this beer 2 months ago now. It's had a lot of time to invest and really kind of come into itself. And
yeah, we definitely took our time.
I'll be
on
down in
this.
San Diego in 2 weeks, so I'm hoping there's still some left on tap. So I'm dying to get some on draft.
Yeah, we're hopefully it should be on draft this week. We got a couple pickups on our end, so.
Oh, you haven't released it to the public yet?
No, not yet.
Oh, sweet. That's great. Be anxious to see how the tap room responds to that with your customer base.
Yeah, it'll fly.
Yeah, especially in the heat. This is yeah.
And I'm looking forward to get some cans at the HÜLL Institute to taste them with my colleagues and with my team. Yeah.
Yeah, should be there hopefully next.
Yeah.
Maybe this week or end of next week. So.
Very good. I'm looking forward for that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Walter.
Thank you for trying out.
Oh, you got some. I didn't realize you had some beer going to Walter. That's fantastic.
Yeah, well, I hope it is, especially the ones you guys are getting. But you know, it's a long journey.
For sure.
Thanks a lot.
For sure.
Excellent. Yeah, I had one question for Walter too. Walter, do you guys have any other? What's in the queue for new aroma hops coming out of HÜLL besides the Mittelfrüh replacement? Are you guys working on anything else, or with the current state of the industry, you just kind of laying low to see where things go?
Yeah, we just introduced Titan. Titan is a new high alpha acid variety. It goes beside Hercules, but it is much more healthy. So it has a fully powdery mildew resistance and same alpha acid content, a little bit higher, same yield. So should work very good. And the other thing is we're working on a replacement on Hallertau Tradition with the same aroma components, but much more agriculture, healthiness, and sustainability. And on the third line, we're working on this is a new aroma variety. This is a daughter of Mandarina Bavaria with 2 crossings, 2 very potential males out of our male breeding lines to get a very wide aroma spectrum in a high oil content for the craft industry. So we are working on 3 sides, but the whole thing is low input, high output on aroma, noble or classical aroma, on high alpha acid and special aroma. And in the last years, we reinstalled our dwarf hops program because you know, maybe in Spain they are working on a indoor hop production project since 5 years now. They want to produce hops indoor all over the year, 3 to 4 harvests a year, all with artificial lights and artificial fertilization, and so especially kept far away from diseases, from enemies, and so on. And they want to have varieties of our breeding lines that are adapted to this indoor farming. And this is what we are trying on a fourth line now, to maybe this is a thing for the future.
Interesting.
That's cool.
So especially breweries maybe in Alaska or in far away areas, they can grow in a old flight hangar their own hops. Why not? Yeah, not good for the Hallertau and the German hop growers, but good for our breeding lines and for developments and so on. So we are scientists. We want to know that.
Wow. There's a lot going on over there. You guys got your hands full for sure. All right. I don't have any more questions. You guys have anything else you'd like to say or touch on before we wrap this up?
I just want to say thank you to everybody, Hudson, for you putting everything together. You know, Walter and Chris, you guys jumping on. Chris especially for putting this beer together or brewing the beer. It's an excellent beer. So I really, I appreciate that. Hopefully, Walter, we get to as a merchant, we can get to sell some more of you guys' awesome hops here in the near future.
That would be very good. So our growers appreciate that because they want to bring more tango in the soil. And this is just possible if you sell it.
Yeah. Totally true.
That is the goal for sure. We I mean, after trying this and then the great job that Ketcham and Stone did over there, I mean, thank you guys very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chris's. Walter and your team of growers. I mean, you guys are doing an awesome job. Much respect for everything you guys do for the industry.
Thanks. And invitation to everybody, just give us an early call to manage that.
You got it. Yeah, I think a visit might be in order in the coming year. All right, guys. Well, again, thank you all very much. Kris, I'll see you in a couple of weeks. I'll hit you up when I'm down in San Diego. And Walter, we'll try to plan something out to Germany in the next year.
Yeah. So I'm back in the US at the next Craft Brewers Conference, judging World Beer Cup, and then being in Indianapolis. Yes.
Nice.
Excellent.
All right. Well, we look forward to catching up. You guys, again, I can't thank you both enough. This has been huge for us, and the beer turned out fantastic. For those of you who are still on here, I would highly recommend trying this hop out. If you have any questions on how to use it, let us know, and we'd be happy to assist in any way we can. So with that, thank you guys, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See you guys later.
Bye.